Hi, I'm Hollie Arnold. I'm the F46 Paralympic javelin champion. I also hold four major titles, which include Paralympic, Commonwealth, World, and European titles. So today you've got some questions for me. So let's get ahead and start with question number one. Who was your role model growing up when you were competing? Okay, so obviously I'm still competing. The person who was my major role model was Jessica Ennis-Hill. You know, she's a fantastic person. She's so strong. The fact that she, didn't get to go to Beijing because of her injuries just blew my mind when she came back and she learned everything on the other foot. She is an inspiration for everybody out there and especially for women. So yeah, definitely Jessica Ennis-Hill. Okay, number two. Were you gutted about the Paralympics not going ahead last summer, or is this a blessing in disguise for you to get more training for this summer? Okay, so yes, I was absolutely gutted that the Paralympics wasn't going on this year. You know, it took me a big mental step back to be able to realize that what I do day in and day out for training, that wasn't going to happen. So I felt like I'd lost a lot of structure in my life. I was very disappointed. I was hopefully going to go out there and defend Paralympic champion title. It was really hard. And I don't feel like, even though now it's 2021 going on for hopefully Tokyo, I don't feel like I've gained that much extra training because of all of the COVID situations last year. But hopefully Tokyo is going ahead this year, and that's what we have to plan for. And again, that's what we train for. We train for these major championships. So fingers crossed, everything will go okay in Tokyo. Okay, number three. Were there ever times when people told you that your disability would hold you back from achieving your dreams? And did this just motivate you even more? So I remember a time at school, there was a career advisor who came around and sat me down and, asked me questions and said, what do you want to be when you grow older? And I said, I want to be a Paralympic athlete. And he sort of kind of smirked a little bit and a little bit of a laugh and kind of said, well, that's not a real job. And I said, it is a real job because you get paid to win medals and, there's funding involved. So it is a job and that's what I want to do. And he wasn't really supportive. He didn't really understand that I wanted to be a Paralympic athlete. So I guess kind of sitting here today is kind of proving him wrong. And I am a Paralympic athlete and a Paralympic champion. So yes, it did motivate me. It made me feel like I wanted to prove him wrong. That, of course, that wasn't all the mentality wanting to be a Paralympian, of course not. But yeah, I guess it drove me a little bit to prove him wrong. Okay, number four. Which athletes/athletes have inspired you during your career? So I have a lot of people who have inspired me. I've got a long list, so I'm not going to say everybody, but a lot of the people who've inspired me are my friends in the Paralympics. I train and see people, my friends compete, what they do in a day-to-day basis, how they train, what they sacrifice. And it's really inspiring knowing that these are my best friends. I've been grown up with them. We've traveled together. We've have major ups and downs together. And I think sometimes, the people who are close to you the most, I guess, as an athlete, we all understand each other. We get that we have to be selfish at times and understand our training and our structure in our lives. So I can't say, who is my inspiration, but a lot of it, is my training friends and is my competition friends that I see around the world. They're incredible, and let's hope I can get to watch them in Tokyo. Okay, number five. Does it feel different competing for Wales and for Team GB? And do you experience the same level of pride either way? It's a really good question. Obviously, I represented Wales in the Commonwealth Games in 2018 in Australia. Now, there's always a bit of a debate, oh, you're English or you're Welsh. At the end of the day, yes, I was born English. I moved to Wales when I was 15. I lived there for 7 years, so I have my in residency to compete for Wales. And I had the chance to compete for Wales, and not only that, was the Welsh team looked after me so well. You know, a lot of my friends like Olivia Breen was there, and we got to mix around with the able-bodied, which again in the Commonwealth, I've never had that experience before, because my event, my F46 disability event, was never in the Commonwealth Games before. So it was a whole new experience, and I was just as proud to put on the Welsh kit as I am so proud to put the Great Britain kit on every time. You know, it was amazing. It was a different experience, but I absolutely loved it. Okay, that was a good question. Number 6, if you can't reach a target you set yourself, how do you mentally overcome it? Okay, so it's always really disappointing when you set yourself goals and you don't achieve that. So for me, mentally, I've learned in the last few years of being an athlete that I have to set little goals. So, you know, it doesn't always have to be in athletics life. It's sometimes making sure that you do the washing and you've got everything prepared and you've got your food, you know, the night before ready for training, you've answered your emails. Because all these little things impact like mentally on my training. So for me, it was organization. So it was being mentally, you know, good enough to be more organized, to get ready for training, to sort everything out, make sure everything's run smoothly. And, you know, it sounds really silly, but, you know, mentally that's really helped me. And, you know, and also we need little goals. You know, in our lives, we sometimes set the bar too high with expectation, and sometimes we can't always live up to that. But, you know, that doesn't mean that the dreams and high standards are still there. It's just setting them little goals each time to get to the big goal. And for me, that's how I mentally deal with it. Okay. Number 7. I'll say that again. Number 7. Do you miss being on I'm a Celebrity? Yes, I do miss being on I'm a Celebrity. I do not miss the beans and rice. I do not miss how cold it is, but I miss the people. I miss the environment. I miss being in somewhere different and completely, you know, challenging. And, you know, we speak to the guys regularly. We have a WhatsApp group, so we do as much as we can. And of course, because of COVID, we can't meet up yet, but hopefully, fingers crossed, when the rules, you know, decide that we can actually meet people in different households even more, and we will definitely catch up, because I've made some incredible friendships with them guys, and they really impacted me, you know, just like on my life and how I look at things. And you got to know the real people in there. Maybe you didn't see that on the TV because unfortunately it's always edited, but you know, I had the best time ever, and I really do miss being on I'm a Celebrity. Okay, number 8. How did going on I'm a Celeb mentally, emotionally, and physically compare to athletics? Okay, that's a really good question, actually. For me, I think it was very similar, because there was always challenges for me. You know, I went in there wanting to show people around the world that just because I have a disability doesn't affect me. I don't want that to affect me. And it's so hard, because I can prepare for training. I couldn't prepare for whatever challenge I was going to be doing in I'm a Celebrity. You know, we didn't have a preview of what we're going to do. It was, if you get selected to do it, that's it. So I think it was more mentally challenging at times, because it was cold. I'm used to eating a regular sort of athlete's diet. Living on 600 calories with no nutritional value was really tough. And, you know, the tiredness, because you had no energy, you were always tired, but you couldn't sleep that much because it was really cold. So again, in life, athletics life, and I'm a celeb, I use my strength. I realized that I'm a lot more resilient than I thought I was, and a lot more stronger than I thought I was. And if it wasn't for I'm a Celeb, I think sometimes them challenges I might have potentially given up. Not given up per se, just, you know, really struggled with them things. But actually it really sort of invigorated me, and I just took them challenges on like I do in everyday life and also athletics. Okay, number 9. If you could be number 1 in the world in another Paralympic sport, what would it be and why? Whoa, that is a tough question. I have never really thought about this before. Okay, different sport. Do you know what? This is I'm going to throw it out there. When I was younger, I used to play football. And I played for a little local team and I absolutely loved it. My dad was always standing on the sides. He was shouting and cheering for me. And I remember scoring once from like it's probably not even hard, but it was a really like hard corner to score from. And I got in the goal and I was like screaming like, yes. And it's just one of the things that I never really realized that I was going to be a javelin thrower. I loved it, but I never realized I was going to be in the position I am today. So, but yeah, football's a real different one for me. But I think I chose football because it's a team sport. So of course, javelin is a singular event, but there's a big team around me who support me and get me to, from A to B, and especially family. But I think I would really enjoy the fact that being in team together and never letting anyone down, because I never want to let anybody down in athletics. So I think having that sort of team and the banter and would very much remind me of athletics. Good question. Number 10, what's your best / favorite moment while you're on I'm a Celebrity? Oh God, there was so many memories and funny moments, but I think the main one that stands out to me is where we were all sitting by the fire and Reach song came on, which was G's song. And we just all sort of like screamed and got really giddy and was just laughing and dancing and singing to it. And it was just kind of like that stop moment where I kind of felt like I was like looking outside and just could see everybody and everybody smiling. And it was just one of the nicest things ever. You came into this program meeting 11 strangers technically, and just learning and living with them and understanding them and just being around them. I don't know, it just made me so happy. I've never felt so happy in my entire life sort of with them guys. So they really brought my proper Hollie out. And that moment, yeah, I'd love to go back there and sit by the campfire, but maybe eat a little bit more calories than 600. But really good question, thank you for that. Okay, so number 11, who is your favorite training partner and why? So people would be like, really? So a lot of my training partners, we train at different times because a lot of them are at university. So as I'm a full-time athlete, of course they have to juggle university as well, which I really take my hat off to them because it's incredibly hard. So really my training partner is my coach. So my coach, Dave Turner, we train together. Obviously, sometimes he joins in. Sometimes I make him join in because I'm like, well, you set me this program. You set me this session to do, so you can do it with me. And not always he likes it, but sometimes he's like, oh, I need to do some training, so I'm going to train with you and help you. And it's just, we can have a laugh together. We've got a real good coach and athlete relationship. We can have fun. We can have banter. We're serious, it's a really nice mixture for the training environment that I need. So yeah, unfortunately, here's my favorite training partner. I hope he doesn't see this. Oh dear. Okay, number 12. Did I'm a Celeb impact your attitude to training in any way? Yeah, I do. I really do. It was a hard year in 2020 for me and a lot of people around the world, but especially with the Paralympics not being on. Like I said, I felt like I'd lost my path a little bit and I sort of lost my spark. I didn't particularly feel like me. And sort of when I went into I'm a Celebrity, again, I found that strength again. I found that resilience and I was definitely a lot happier, which was really nice to feel. And, I miss training a lot. I miss the people, I miss my coach and just the environment. So I felt like it made me hungry for this year, for 2021, for Tokyo. And it made me even more determined to come back and prove to myself who I am and what I can achieve. And it really did help me be an I'm a Celebrity. So yeah, really good question that. Thank you. Okay, so number 13. How do you overcome your nerves when it comes to competition day? So I'm a real nervous person. For me, I try and plan things. So I try and listen to music a lot. So music is like my life. I listen to it all the time, every day. And I've got, a certain set songs for training, competition, and I kind of listen to that. And, sometimes you can't always plan things because at the end of the day, you have to control the controllables, right? So I just do what makes me happy and eases the nerves, because you're always going to be nervous, because at the end of the day, it's exciting nerves as well, and it's good to have, as my dad says, fire in your belly, because that's what you want. So I know if I am nervous, it means I want it. It means I'm passionate about it, and I've sacrificed a lot, to get wherever I am. So again, for me, is my music, just channeling everything in with music, and just real good vibes, and I feel like that sort of really energizes me. So yeah, music's for me. Okay, now we have the last one, number 14. What would you do for a career if you wasn't an athlete? Oh, that's a tough one. I don't really think I've thought about. I sometimes have to think about, potentially retiring, touch wood, not yet. I maybe would think it would probably be in sport. I've always loved, obviously, being in sport. And also I never really had sort of a, disabled person who represented javelin when I was younger. So I never really had someone like that to look up to. Of course, I looked up to Jessica Ennis Hill, but just a single javelin throw, I never really had that. So maybe one day I could make a coach and give back to that sport. And again, I've lived it for a very long time. I went to Beijing Paralympics in 2008 when I was 14 years old. So I feel like I've been doing this for a very long time. I've had experience. Hopefully for Tokyo, this will be my 4th Paralympic. So I guess I've got some experience and hopefully knowledge to give back. But you know what? It sounds really silly, but since I'm a celebrity, I feel like there also is different paths you can take. So even though I get really nervous around being on media, and even doing this today, I got a little bit nervous going ahead and speaking about this, but I would love to maybe be involved in the media and having a different career, because you never know what's out there and what paths you can take. So I'm really open now to what could happen in the future. But I think I would quite like to be in sport first, maybe. So yeah,